Good evening. Welcome to the Wendell Elamine James Show. This evening, I want to talk about something a little different. We want to talk about a problem that we have in our community with youth, the young men. You know, and I want to talk about this because it's something that's affecting my family, and we have to start with our families, and we have to reach out and try to help other families. So, what I'm doing today, this evening, is I'm talking about peer pressure, trying to fit in somewhere where you really don't. You know, sometimes we come up in these communities and we get uh, to the point in life where, we want to fit in somewhere where you don't fit in. We want to please the homies, and do things that don't make sense. It really don't make sense to nobody. At the time you're doing it, well, it's a lot of fun. Everybody's happy, everybody's smiling, everybody's getting what they want their way. But let me explain something to you that you don't owe nothing to nobody. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. You got to be your own self person in order to fit into this world, into this life. You know, we young men, some of us are children. We grow up and we want to be something that we're not. In the generation that I came up in, they had a movie, Superfly. Superfly ruined a whole generation of people because watching Superfly movie, after the movie, people went out and purchased Cadillacs, bought dope and started selling dope, started selling human flesh. They did something that was a fictional story, and they tried to make that a reality. That wasn't real, but people tried to make it real. Ruined a whole generation of people. Now today, moving forward, the cycle goes on because they got youngsters now that's coming up and they're doing things that don't make sense. Making it plain that you know you get to a certain age in life, you got to find out what your goals are, what the reason is in this world. Everybody has a purpose in life, but we have to find out what our purpose is. And once we find out what our purpose is, we have to fulfill that. We have to go for it. We have to make that happen. You young people, you know, we want to be part of a community, part of a society, you know. But the thing is that, see, if you go to school, you get education. That's something they can't take from you. If you get a piece of paper with a certificate of completion, a degree, they can't take that from you. They can burn it up, but they can't take it from you. You earned that rightfully. What you need to do is to think about what you're doing every day. Think about what you do before you do anything. Think about it because there's consequences. You go out and climb in somebody's window and take the VCR, there's consequences. Because, see, you might climb in their window and you might not come back out alive. You might go in that window and somebody might be in there with a gun and kill you. You see, you're taking a chance. Or you might come out with that VCR and you go somewhere and try to sell it, and you might be selling it to somebody's that you stole it from, son, a husband. You know, you don't know what the consequences are going to be. So we have to think about everything that we do before we do it. You know, hanging out selling dope. Like I say, everything that glitter is not gold. You sell dope, make a little money, but you make a little money, then you go out to buy things. So the more money you make, the more money you got to spend. The more money you spend, the more money you got to make. So it's constantly a cycle going on there. So what we have to do, we have to think about the things in life that we're doing, and we got to get an education. We got to get something that's viable. We got to get something that we can hold on to be part of this life, because they got Satan goes on. Satan gives you anything that you want. But sooner or later you're gonna have to pay the piper. He want his back. You got you got the dope, you got the women, you got all kind of wrongs you're doing. You're writing paper, writing bad checks, you're doing things, you're making money, making illegal money. But sooner or later you got to pay for that. You can't make legal money and become to the point where you can retire. You know, I don't know nobody in my life that did illegal things continuously and retired and went and got a retirement check for it. It don't work like that. You work for so long, you get a retirement check. You do wrong for so long, you get to the point in life where what you gonna do? You gonna go down and retire and get a retirement check from doing wrong? It don't work like that. If you put in, that's what you get out. If you don't put nothing in, that's what you don't get back. So you got to do something right with your life, with your time. We can't constantly do wrong in life and expect to reap the good benefits. It don't work like that. You know, I got a youngster when I was in prison, and this youngster used to come in on Thursdays. I had a group that I used to speak to, and he used to come in on Thursdays, and I used to talk to this youngster on a regular. I used to try to explain to this youngster that, hey man, you know, you're a young man. You know, you got a long life ahead of you. He was 35 years old then. Matter of fact, he was younger than that. He must have been 30 at the time when I first met him. But then I talked to him and he'd say, well, hey man, you're right. I'm gonna do it this way because you're making sense. But then he'd go home after doing 18 months or 2 years or whatever. He'd go home and then he'd stay on for 6 months at a time. Then he'll come back. And when he come back, he would want to see me. He come down to the chapel. I worked in the chapel, Interfaith Chapel at the time. He comes into the chapel and I explained to him, look, Johnson, you need to stop doing what you're doing, man, because see, sooner or later this is going to catch up with you. And once they catch up with you, you're going to have to pay. You got to pay the piper. So what he did, and he kept on going out and kept on coming back. Every time he come back, he wanted to come see me. And I sit down and I talked to him. And it got to the point to where, you know, I started giving him tough love. I didn't want to talk to him, you see. I said, no, you're wasting my time and you're wasting yours because you don't want to do nothing different. You know, I'm giving you everything that you need, but you're not using the tools to change your life. So what he did is he went home, and I didn't see the youngster for about 2 years. I was at work one day, and I get a kite, and somebody sent me a kite. And the kite that I got was a kite from him. He said, hey, man, Unc, they used to call me Unc. He said, Unc, I need to see you. And I'm reading the kite that he sent me, and down at the bottom of the kite that he had wrote me was his housing. And the housing was SPU housing. What he did was, when he came back into the system that particular time, he PC'd. He went in protective custody. So I asked the chaplain, who I was working for, if he would go down and check on the youngster and see what he was back for and what did he need, whatever. So the chaplain went down and talked to him for a while and came back and told me, hey, Elamine, he said, youngster locked up. He locked up. You can't even come in contact with him no more. I said, whoa, is that right? So I said, yeah. He said, yeah, he locked up. He's protective custody now. So a couple of days later, I got a letter. He sent me a letter through the prison mail. And the letter I got, you know, he sent me, and I read the letter. And the letter was telling me that I should have listened. I walked by your office with my head down, feeling shame. The imam was a little upset with me when he came to see me. I went to court, and they gave me 140 years to life. He said I should have listened to you. He said if I could just have a little time to talk with you, you know, I really need to talk to you. But I know by me being PC, I won't ever be able to talk to you again. He said, but I should have listened to you. He said, if I can turn back the hands of time and do this all over again, Unc, I listened to everything you said because what you were saying was true. I had a life, an opportunity to do anything that I wanted to do, but I chose to go back and do the same thing that I had been doing all my life. You know, I love you, Unc. I got 140 years of life. So this youngster came back with 140 years of life. And what I'm saying is that we have to break the cycle. We can't go out after doing a little bit of time in prison and go back out to the world. And we can't go out and do the same thing that took us to prison the first time. We have to break that cycle. A lot of you youngsters come up in households without a father, a mother doing the best that she can. And the mother living in the household, she gets with a man that's, you know, she want to be with a man, so she got a man move in, and he's not doing the right thing that he's supposed to do. You know, he's just taking a ride. But we get with these families, and we see these families all the time, and they come addicted to drugs or abuse or some horrendous thing, and they fall low to the bottom. And that child suffers because, see, that child has to go to school. He got to go in front of his homies, his friends, and he has to be a certain type of way. He got to be dressed a certain type of way. And that mother is suffering because she's trying to raise the children because she has no man in the house. So it gets to the point to where the child, is doing the best he can. He's trying to go to school. He's trying to do the best he can. But he's trying to fit in with his friends. He want to be part of the crowd. And he's doing the best he can, but his mother is taking care of him and his sister, living by themselves. But the old man that comes in every now and then to be part of the household for a couple of days, and he leaves. But that child gets to the point to where, he gets up and he wants to get out and do things. And his homie around the street, his little friend around the street, his little friend, mother and father, they're doing pretty good. He going to school with all the new clothes and different things that that you have when you go to school. But the youngster around the corner, he don't have that because his mother's trying to do the best that she can, raising him and his sister. And it gets to the point to where the little child goes around the corner with his friend that's while the mother doing pretty good. And the youngster, where the father and mother doing pretty good, he's selling weed. He selling weed and he's doing pretty good himself because, he ain't got to suffer like the kid around the corner that the mother's doing the best she can to try to raise a son. So he gets to the point to where he got to do something now to make a little money. He got to get school clothes. September coming around, he got to go to school, but he don't have no school clothes. So he hang out around the corner with his homie. Homie give him a bag of weed and say, here, man, you got to make a little money and go to school. You can't look like that going to school. So he gave him a sack. He wanted a little money back. He started selling weed. He started running up on cars and finding people that buy a little weed, and he started selling weed. Now, mind you, now he's 13 years old. But he got to have school clothes. He don't want to be laughed at. He don't want to be ashamed when he go to school. So he go down and he buys some tennis shoes and some slacks and some shirts and whatever. He's doing pretty good now. He's dressing like the other kids dress, and he kind of rolling now. But he fitting in somewhere where he don't fit in, right? But he have to do what he have to do to survive. And then this child goes home one day after being out that evening, and he come around the corner and his mother is crying, going to the house, telling the son that they cut the PG&E off. I don't have the money. So he said, Mama, I got the money. The PG&E man just down the street there, he just cut off the PG&E. He said, Mama, I got the money. She said, baby, it's $200. You don't have the money. Mama, I got $200. She hollers for the PG&E man to come back. Hey, come back. Please come back. He comes back and cut the PG&E on. She gave him the $200. And he gave her a receipt, and PG&E is back on. And she goes back to her son and said, well, where you get that money from? She said, Mama, I found $300. She said, really, baby, you found $300? Yes, Mama, I found $300. She said, what other $100 at? He gives the $100 to his mother. He goes to the house. His mother, she done start smoking crack now. She take the $100, she go down and she buy a 50 shot. Come back to the house, call the old man over. They come over and they start smoking. The son is in the bedroom now. He's selling weed. He go in the bedroom, close the door, he's bagging up some weed now. Getting ready to go back on the street. But the evening go around. Mama's in bed in the living room, and old man come over there and buy a 50 shot, and they smoking now. Make a couple of phone calls, some more friends come over. Now this is the 31st. The first is tomorrow. You got a check come around. And the friends come over and they smoking in the living room. So the son goes back out. He go around the corner. Now mind you, he's smoking weed. He's selling weed. He done started selling crack now. He done moved up. So he come back around the house that evening and open the door to come in the house about 11 o'clock. Got to go to school tomorrow. Contact hit him in the face. Crack. Come in the house. And he goes in his bedroom. He closes the door, cut the light off, get ready to go to school the next morning. Wake up the next morning, get ready to go to school. And they in the bedroom, they in the living room, they still smoking crack. It's going on for a couple of days now, because the next day is the first now. So they got the welfare checks. They go down and they cash their check. They put on their Sunday best, go down and cash their checks. So they come back to the house and they're in the house. The youngster come home from school, come in the house, and his mother went down and did a little shopping. Got a Kentucky bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken sitting on the kitchen table. So little son come in from school and he go to the table. His little sister, he sits at the table eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. And this is the first. They won't get another bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken until the 15th, but they enjoying that chicken. Now mind you, the little son, he got to leave now because he got to go around the corner and sell some dope to make some more money. But his mother and father don't know what he's doing. But they in the kitchen, they smoking. I mean, the living room, excuse me. They in the living room smoking with their friends. They got about 7 people in there smoking now. So everybody around in the living room, they smoking, and so the son leaves back outside to go around the corner. He starts selling dope. Come home late that evening. You know, and his mother getting ready to go buy some more dope. Knock at the door. Dude that's dropping the dope off, he come out to the front door, knock on the door. Moms come outside and buy some more dope. They come back inside and they smoking again. It's going for 2 or 3 days. And the son is trying to get some sleep because he got to go to school in the morning, but he got to keep what he's doing hush because he don't want his mother and father to know that he's selling dope. Right? So he get to the point to where, you know, the youngster come home one day and his mother go in the bedroom while he's on his way home, clean up the bedroom and found a sack of crack. He come in the house, boy, what is this? Oh, mom, that's something I found. I found it. You found it? Where you find this at? Around the corner. He said, boy, you bring this on. You found any more of this? You bring this to me. You don't supposed to have this. Mama take the crack and it's on again, cracking. So the son leave. He go back out in the street. He lost that little crack that he had in his bedroom. So he got to make double now. He got to make up. He go out and he start selling the weed that he got. He got enough weed where he can go get some crack, buy some crack. He go back out in the community, he's selling crack again. So son come home that a couple days later, he coming home, and his mama saying, well, I need to go out and buy me a 50 shot. I said, hey, mama, I know who got the 50 shot. This is what the son say. I said, do you? How you know? Joe's father sell that stuff. Really? Maybe, hey, could you take this 50 and go see what you can get from Joe's father for me, will you? Okay, mama. Now little to know that her son is now selling crack. So her son goes around the corner, around the building, back to the house, gives his mother a 50 shot and some crumbs. So now his son is selling dope to the mama. So little to know that later on in life, it comes to where the son becomes the mama's and the daddy's supplier. The sons become the head of the household because they're paying the bills now. The mother is buying dope from the son. The boyfriend is buying dope from the son. The people that come over to the house and sits in the living room, and the son was coming from school, sitting at the kitchen table eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, they're now buying dope from the son. And that's what goes on. So the cycle goes on. So what I'm saying is that we have to stop this. We got to stop this cycle because it's a vicious cycle that we have to stop. And we can stop it. Okay, because that son is going to grow up and only 2 things are going to happen to that son because he done got a liking to money. He done got addicted to money. Only 2 things are going to happen to that son. He going to wind up in the penitentiary or he going to wind up in the cemetery. One of the 2. It's no 3. There's no future in that. You can't retire selling dope. You can't retire doing wrong. It's not going to work. So we have to break the cycle. We have to stop this ignorant stuff that we're doing. We got to bring our children back. We got to save our youth. We got to save our youngsters. You know, they're killing us at a record speed, and we got to stop it. But the only way we're gonna stop it is we got to break this cycle. We got to show our youngsters that, hey, don't fit in somewhere where you don't. Don't try to please the homie because the homie's a clown. See, you go out and you hang out with the homies on the street corner, and you got your female, nice female, and y'all doing whatever y'all doing and making things peaceful to one another. Y'all loving each other. But the first time you get cracked, the first time you go to the penitentiary or you go to the county jail, do any kind of time at all, somebody gonna be at your woman. Before you get to the substation, somebody gonna be at your house, at your woman. When you make the phone call from the substation to the house, somebody gonna be there waiting on you to call with your woman. And when they answer the phone and he say, well, hey, Mike is here. Well, what is Mike doing there? Well, he just said he want to come here and be here when you call. So what are you doing in my house? Get him out of there. Or if you get to the point where you get on parole and you get violated, hey, everybody wants to be with a winner. Don't nobody want to be with a loser. If you in and out of the penitentiary, you ain't gonna have no woman waiting on you, man. Woman have needs. If you're not there doing what you're supposed to do, women have needs, man. So you got to do what you got to do, man, to stay in the society. If you had children by a woman, a woman want that man to be there with the children. You have the right to be there with your children. You have a responsibility to raise your children to the age where they can't take care of themselves. This is our problem today. The men are not there taking care of children. We need to be there. We got to be there to where we can have our sons and daughters respect us. Not have somebody else come in because we're not there, we're in the penitentiary, and somebody else calling your son, or your son calling somebody else dad, and somebody else calling your son. We can't have it like that, man. We got to break the cycle. It's a vicious cycle, but it can be broke. We got to save ourselves. Our generation is being wiped out. It's a form of genocide, and we have to stop it. We have to break this vicious cycle. We have to make our lives matter. We have to make our future a brighter future than what it is. We are living in America. We have a black president. We can do anything you want to do today. All you have to do is do it. If you can dream, you can make it a reality. If you can think something, you can make it happen. Anything that you do, think about it before you do it. There's consequences to it. Don't just do things on a whim, on impulse. Think about what you do before you do it. There's consequences to it. We don't want people to live life and not have purpose. That son that was selling dope to his mother and his father, okay, that son that was trying to fit in some way, the way he didn't fit in. Let's make that son put that sack down. Let's make that addiction to money become to the point to where he takes that illegal money and turn it into legal money and go on and do something right in life. Start a business, start a car wash, open a store. You know, get the store in your communities where you don't have to sell alcohol and poison to your community. You know, do something that's constructive in your neighborhood. Help the old that can't help themselves. That's what we have to do. We got to be responsible citizens in our community. We got to be responsible people in our community. Because if we don't, nobody else is going to do it. We got to break this vicious cycle. We can. We can. We got to work together collectively. We got to do it collectively and break this vicious cycle that's been going on for generations. As I said at the beginning of the show, Superfly movie ruined a whole generation of people, and it's still going on. It's still being ruined by that movie. You know, a fictional story that was so real. A fictional story that was so real, but it was a fictional story. And that's what we live in today. We still live in fictional stories. So we have to break the vicious cycle, and we can. So I say to the communities is to take a look at your children. Take a look at your family. Pay attention to what your children are doing. You know what your children are doing. Know where your children are at all times. Love your children. Tell your children you love them. If you have somebody that's incarcerated in prison, get in contact with them. Know how they're doing. You know what's going on with their lives in prison. You know, sure enough, we went to prison for whatever crime we went to prison for. You know, that's not the individual we are. You know, allow us to come back in society and give back to the youth, give back to the younger generation. You know, that's what we have to do. We got to come back and we got to change our communities from what they were to who we want them to be now. We want them to be taxpayers. We want them to be citizens. We want to be respectable people in the communities, and that's what we have to do now, coming home from prison. A lot of people come home from prison, they say, well, I'm out of prison and it's all about me, but no, it's not about me. It's about our communities, changing our communities what they should be. You know, we did some wrong going into prison. We was bad examples. But we have to come home. We got to come back to society, and we got to start with our families. We got to start with our nieces, our nephews, and we got to show them that, hey, man, you know what you doing? I've done that, been there. You know what it is. But I know sooner or later you're gonna have to pay the piper. You know, don't fit in somewhere where you don't fit in. You don't owe nobody no explanation for what you're doing in life. The only person you owe is your creator and your mother and your father for allowing you to be here. And that's what you should take heed to and look at what you're doing in life. Is it making a difference? Is it a purpose what you're doing? You selling poison to your community. You going to people's properties that they work for. You ruining people's life. If you go to prison, if you go into a confined environment, you're doing time and everybody in your family is affected by it. Don't allow that to be the reason. Okay? If you're doing wrong, slowly but surely back up out of it. Get away from it because you don't owe nobody no explanation for what you do. Don't fit in somewhere where you don't fit in because you don't. You don't fit in. You're not supposed to be there. You know, take your life back. Take control over what you're doing in life. The life that you save should be yours first. Once you save yourself, start helping somebody else save themselves. Start being productive citizens to society. Start having people trust you. Start having people know that what you're doing is right. It's not wrong. The life that you save should be your own. And once you save yourself, help somebody else save their life. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight to the show. And I hope something I said affects somebody out there. One of you youngsters, you know, look at what you're doing, man. What you're doing, you're causing chaos. You're hurting your mother, you're hurting your sisters, you're hurting your brothers, you're hurting your family. The crime that you commit, the time that you commit, every member of your family is being affected by it. Save yourself, save your life. Thank you. Have a good evening, and tune in next Saturday for the Wendell Elamine James Show. Thank you, and have a good evening.